You know what? I'm wondering a bit about what will make you think I'm a little weird. Is it because I say that the Suzuki GSX-S 1000F is one of the coolest motorcycles you can currently buy? Or is it simply because I am about to thoroughly dig into some delicious vegan burgers? Just because I genuinely like them so much? Wait, but seriously. Oh wait, damn, I forgot my backpack. And now I have to stuff this into my jacket. I'll be riding loaded up with vegetable, let's hope I don't crash. Because then, damn, my veggie guts will spill out. Listen, but let me briefly talk about the GSX-S 1000S. If I can just find the keys for it. Oh, here they are. In my opinion, this motorcycle is one of the most underrated machines of recent years. Because, well, it kind of did itself a significant disservice with its overall looks. Which, well, it's certainly not for me to personally judge whether it's truly ugly or genuinely pretty. But most discerning people undeniably think it's quite visually controversial with its distinctive shapes, strikingly resembling a gracefully leaping aquatic mammal, namely a sleek and powerful dolphin. It doesn't bother me, because look, from here it actually looks pretty cool, especially when little Jesus is watching over us, who at the moment is covering the available fuel range. But that's not important. What matters is that we don't have to worry about all the different numbers popping up one way or another. From here it's really fine. Look, damn, this is even a British fat bar handlebar, which you won't find as standard on any other motorcycle. Well, unless it's on some motocross bike. But even then, fat bars are rare, because it's honestly a really expensive part. Here, there's a radial brake master cylinder with a nice reservoir. The brakes are Brembo. The suspension is fully adjustable. We can turn off the traction control at any time, and it will stay off even if we turn off the ignition. And this traction control works nicely on the first level because it allows for slight slides. And above all, this engine, which is simply magical. This is a power unit from the GSX-R 1000F, if I remember correctly. Wait, I need to fasten my helmet properly. Riding without hands while braking isn't very smart either. I have to fasten it so the wind doesn't get in. But this engine is simply poetry. It's been detuned in terms of power at the top end, but it's so detuned compared to the GSX-R 1000s that it doesn't matter, because with a wide handlebar, we really don't need that much power. Oh, there's someone even more daring than me riding a motorcycle over there. But how do we make the motorcycle? Look. Well, damn. And that still wasn't the end. It really accelerates very nicely and briskly, so that a CBR 1100 TEX-X at a traffic light start wouldn't really crush us here in those first few meters. But what's coolest about this engine is that it gives us exactly as much as we need. Because if we want to ride fast, we ride fast. But if we want to go slow and economically, it goes slow and economically. Because this engine is a bit like those old GSX, all-cooled engines, like in the Scooter 1300. It's just an incredibly flexible machine. Look, I'm riding first gear. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Don't cut me off. I'm already cruising in sixth. Look, just like on a scooter. It accelerates really nicely. And with sixth gear, I can just keep riding all the time. Honestly, I could also shift down to fourth gear. I could even start off in fourth and just ride in fourth the whole time. Look, now I slowed down to almost 0 and I'm in fourth. Watch how it accelerates from 1500 RPM. That's awesome. Sorry, that was really not nice. You shouldn't drive like that. Remember, I just kind of zoned out for a moment. Another thing is the suspension, which not only is adjustable, but it's just very good. It's not electronic, and the functions aren't separated. What you really need to know is that separating the functions between the forks is mainly meant to reduce production costs, not to improve riding performance. These are good old forks, just like in the GSX-Rs from 10 years ago, which work great both on the track and on the street. And it's tuned so well that even when hitting bumps you don't feel any discomfort. Traction is maintained very decently. Honestly, we don't need anything more here. That's the remarkable phenomenon of Suzuki. They consistently don't overcomplicate things or force anything unnecessarily. The compelling story behind this comes from the significant fact that when the global financial crisis hit in 2008, Suzuki proudly boasts that they were indeed the only major automotive company who didn't lay off any of their valuable people or close any of their operational factories. They were simply the only ones who naturally managed to withstand that crisis. How do they do it? Well, they simply put a hold on work actually. Not work itself, but spending on the development of new motorcycles. Because that's what consumes the most money. And so, if you're surprised that a motorcycle costs 80,000 zlotys, it's not that producing the motorcycle actually costs 80,000 zlotys. That price has to cover something else. Oh, look how nice. A check hoops. There's some potential here, right? That price has to include the cost of creating the machine itself, meaning all the development, designing the engines, suspensions, and similar things. Suzuki put a halt to that, and because of it, according to some people, they kind of fell out of the loop, since there weren't any spectacular new releases. How many years did we have to wait for the GSX-R? Even after it was already shown, we still waited and waited, and waited for it to actually arrive here. And because Suzuki will defend itself, well, thank you, how nice that people are moving over. Because Suzuki didn't bear those costs for a long time, they were able to hold their ground, and that's why their motorcycles are still good, even very good. Because year after year they just have some kind of diffusers. They're still very good because they do get improved year after year, just small minor things, but the base is always simply good enough. And thanks to that, they don't cost 80,000 zlotys, but a normal, reasonable amount. Because I'm surprised that so few people are even interested. Alright, I guess I can't really be surprised that they're not interested, because maybe they just don't like it. However, like I said, it's great here, and after just a few days of riding, I already like this motorcycle. Because I know what it's like, and what? I simply know how much enjoyment it gives me to ride it. But, for example, I really don't understand why so few people consider the GSX-S 1000, the naked one, because it's honestly a total blast. You know, the traction control works. I could feel that the rear wheel, since it's dirty, wanted to slip, and it just kicked in smoothly. And so, here I am, heading back to the office. I'll probably tell you much more about the impressive GSX-S in another dedicated video. But yes, I would really love to take it somewhere truly exciting, where I can have some genuine fun with it, and if I fortunately manage to do that, I'll definitely weave it into the narrative here somewhere within the content. If not, just know that the Suzuki GSX-S 1000F is a motorcycle worth considering, because if you need a bike that can do it all, one that's very predictable and effective, it's really, really great. And with that, take care. Goodbye.